Guys, welcome back. I'm in the car again, going to New York City. So exciting, as usual. So, as you know, on our page, we've been doing a discussion about the AK-74 versus the 47. And Evan and I, and Joe and Scott have all put in our 2 cents about which one we prefer. But there is an actual opinion, or rather, I have a true opinion with regard to both. And the answer is, I like the 74 better. Now, why is that exactly? Well, it's like what Evan said. The bullet is a flatter shooting round. It can travel over further distances. It can do all that stuff. More than that, though, it's really considerably lighter than something like the 47. The 47 is an excellent platform. Don't get me wrong. But anytime that you can save weight, anytime that you can save even a little bit, it's going to go a long way. There's the old adage in the military that ounces equate to, I don't know the exact one, but ounces equal pounds and pounds equal pain, something to that effect. And it really does matter. What other stuff do I like about the 74? Here's a big one. The AK-74 is excellent for newer shooters. Why do I say that? Well, just like the AR-15 in its smaller caliber round, it doesn't recoil a whole lot. And that's not to say that the AK-47 recoils a lot itself. It really doesn't, especially when you compare it to larger full-size battle cartridges like the 30-06, the 308. It actually is very mild. But the AK-74 and its cartridge 545x39 is even less. I've shot the AK-74 with a muzzle brake, and I've shot the AK-47 with a muzzle brake. There's basically no muzzle climb with the AK-74. It's really pleasant to shoot. And in that kind of situation, I value my ability to repeat hits or repeatedly keep myself on target or keep my sight on target. Now let's talk about the price of ammunition. It's comparable. It's largely the same. And to be honest with you, do you need the fancy defensive loads in order to actually defend your life? The answer is no. Militaries around the world have been utilizing ball ammunition for decades, and it's been doing just fine. Also, with another point to that, with the limited loads that you have with the AK-74, the 545x39 is designed actually to tumble or yaw when it hits a soft target, very similar to our American 5.56 or 223. And if you look at wound characteristics from that, or if you see people that are injured from that particular round, it's an absolutely devastating round. And in some ways, it's more devastating than something like the 5.56. It just tears you up inside. It is brutal. While the AK-47's round was often criticized for just punching through targets, similar to what the 223 in its M855 configuration does. It just kind of pokes holes through targets. So there's that. I already said that it was an overall lighter package in terms of the rifle, but the ammunition is significantly lighter too. Now, what I love about the AR-15, is that you've got that little mini 223 round, and you can just pack ammo into your system. With an AK-47, even if you're using something like the Magpul polymer mags or a lighter weight type magazine, it's going to be significantly heavier than a 223 AR-15 magazine loaded to full capacity. I'll give you an example. A steel AK-47 magazine loaded to full capacity is roughly 1.5 to 2 pounds, around that area. I don't have a scale with me, but I'm going to assume that it's closer to the 2 pound mark than it is to the 1 pound mark. With an AR-15 magazine, with 30 rounds in an aluminum, it's 1 pound flat. Now again, this is about 5.45, but the rounds are so comparable, I can't really imagine the 74 magazines being much heavier than something like an AR-15 magazine. Evan was also completely correct. Most parts between the 74 and the 47 are interchangeable. Furniture is interchangeable. Hell, the gas tubes are interchangeable. The only thing that really isn't is the barrel, which obviously is much smaller in terms of diameter, and also the bolt. They're different. But you can take 47 parts, modify them in such a way where you can make a 74 out of it. It's not really that difficult. So, in that sense, you're not really losing anything. Now, with one of the points that I made with regard to the cost of magazines. Well, this is where the consumer comes in. While it is significantly more expensive at the moment to buy 74 magazines, we live in a free society with a free market. If more interest is generated in the AK-74, those prices will begin to come down. Magpul has even talked about actually putting out an AK-74 magazine in the near future. And if we continually buy into the 74, we buy into that market, things will begin to change, and it'll become less of a strange proprietary round. I remember a few years ago, even when 7.6 was being imported, that the 74 was often regarded as a sort of an oddball caliber. And yeah, it was back then, but now it's becoming more and more common and accepted, so it's a lot less oddball than it was. One final point I want to make, though, before I end this video, is that yes, 545 is less common than 7.62-39 in the United States, but there's a really, really important thing you have to consider. Sometimes ammo commonality is a bad thing. It's actually really bad sometimes. Now, a lot of you know that in 2013 and to some degree in 2012, there was a big ammo crisis in the United States. You couldn't find anything. You couldn't find 5.56. You couldn't find 45, 9mm. They were all just gone. But some calibers did remain in large quantities. And what were those calibers? They were 7.62 by 54R, that was still available. 7.62 by 39 was still available, and most of what you can find was 7.62 by or 5.45 by 39. Those calibers were all available, and even when 7.62-39 was a little bit, it was available, but it was you weren't going to find mountains of it. 5.45 was there by the droves. By the droves, you can find it easily back then. So guys, yeah, this is the conclusion of our AK-47 versus 74 series on my end. On my channel, if you guys want to add anything more to this argument, feel free. If you guys out there in YouTube land want to add more to this argument too, more than welcome. This is what the channel is about. Freedom of discussion, freedom to express your ideas. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day.